Amid the rising storm of fire and steel sweeping across Europe in the late 1930s, as major powers raced to rearm for an inevitable war, one small Nordic nation stood firm in its neutrality: Sweden. But neutrality did not mean passivity. Instead, Sweden quietly pursued its own path, building a capable national defense through domestic ingenuity and industrial strength. It was in this context that the Landsverk Lago tank was born, not merely as an export product, but as a clear statement that Sweden would be ready if drawn into the whirlwind of war. The name Lago may not appear frequently in World War II history books, yet behind its quiet presence lies an important story, one of transformation within Sweden's defense industry, and of a medium tank designed that emerged at a pivotal moment, capable of competing with Germany's Panzer III or Czechoslovakia's Skoda T-22. More importantly, Lago was the direct predecessor of the Stridsvagn M42, the armed backbone of Sweden during the war in the years that followed. The story of Lago is a convergence of technology, strategy, and national resolve, a powerful reminder that even in silence, a neutral nation can prepare for war with intelligence and determination. The Lago tank project began in 1936 at AB Landsverk, following the cancellation of the STRV M31 program. Initially designed for export, Lago featured Bochler 47mm gun, frontal armor to 34mm thick, and a weight of around 15 tons. However, both intended buyers, Austria and Hungary, ultimately withdrew, forcing Landsverk to shift development toward domestic needs. The first prototype, Lago 1, retained the original design but was later upgraded with a more powerful engine and armor-piercing discarding sabot APDS rounds after the war, significantly improving its combat capability. Its sloped armor, robust drive terrain, and good mobility laid the groundwork for future Swedish armor development. The journey of the Lago is a striking example of how Sweden transformed a failed export venture into the foundation of its armed forces, reflecting a pragmatic and adaptable approach to defense industry development. The Lago 1 prototype, also known as the Lago M38, marked a significant step in Sweden's effort to modernize its armed forces in the late 1930s. With a weight of approximately 17.8 tons and up to 21 tons when fully loaded, the vehicle measured 5.8 meters in length, 2.3 meters in width, and had a similar height. The 5-man crew operated in confined spaces within the hull and turret, covering driving, loading, command, and observation duties. In terms of mobility, the Lago 1 could reach a top speed of 45 km per hour when moving forward and between 6 and 18 km per hour in reverse, depending on the transmission configuration. The engine delivered up to 285 horsepower, resulting in an impressive power-to-weight ratio of 16 horsepower per ton, surpassing that of many contemporaneous tanks. On the battlefield, the vehicle maintained a visual range of approximately 320 to 330 meters, while its radio system had an operational range of up to 345 meters, enabling effective coordination with armed formations. The armament of the Lago 1 underwent several upgrades during its development. While the first prototype was equipped with a Bofors 47mm gun, later versions received either a 75mm cannon or the 37mm Can M38, a widely used weapon in early variants. When armed with the 37mm gun, the tank carried 100 rounds and achieved a reload rate between 4.1 and 3.1 seconds per shot, allowing for a consistent rate of fire in combat. The gun featured an elevation range from -10 to +20 degrees, enabling effective firing from lower ground or slope positions. The turret traverse rate varied between 13.6 and 19.5 degrees per second, while the full platform could rotate at speeds from 27 to 31 degrees per second, ensuring rapid targeting against mobile threats. Secondary armament included 3 SKP light machine guns of 7.9mm caliber or a single coaxial 8mm KSP M36, with a total ammunition load of up to 2,250 rounds and a firing rate of 648 rounds per minute. A notable feature of Lago's firepower was the variety of ammunition types. The APBC rounds SLPPRJ M38 could penetrate 59mm of armor at 10 meters and 28mm at 1,000 meters. The APHE shell SLPGR M38, while offering slightly reduced penetration, remained effective at close range. Most importantly, the post-war introduction of APDS rounds SLPPRJ M49 allowed the 39mm gun to penetrate up to 115mm of armor at just 10 meters, a remarkable figure that significantly extended the combat relevance of the Lago platform in the post-war period. The armor protection of the Lago was designed with thickness ranging from 5 to 40mm, depending on the section. The hull featured 34mm of frontal armor and 24mm at the rear, while turret armor varied between 20 and 34mm. Additionally, the tracks were covered by 10mm of side armor. Notably, the Lago's design made effective use of sloped armor, an advanced concept at the time, to deflect incoming rounds and maximize protection without adding significant weight. However, vulnerabilities remained at the front due to several flat or thinner armor plates, some not exceeding 34mm, which posed a disadvantage against more powerful anti-tank guns from potential adversaries. The overall configuration of the Lago I reflected a forward-thinking design, balancing firepower, protection, and mobility in line with late 1930s mechanized warfare doctrine. These specifications not only demonstrated Sweden's technical capabilities, but also highlighted a practical strategic mindset, optimizing performance with a relatively light and agile chassis, while preserving upgrade potential. This would later be validated when the Lago served as the foundation for the more prominent STRV M42 series. Although it never saw combat, the Lago tank and its derivative, the STRV M42, played a significant role in Sweden's defense strategy during World War II. Within the framework of neutrality, the presence of these vehicles served as a symbol of deterrence, demonstrating combat readiness without direct involvement in hostilities. Following testing, the Lago evolved into the STRV M42, Sweden's main battle tank from 1943 to 1957. A total of 282 units were produced and assigned to several armored regiments, becoming the backbone of the Swedish armored forces for over a decade. The STRV M42 had 4 main variants, distinguished by different engines and transmission systems. By the 1950s, most of these tanks were converted into either the STRV 74 or the IKV 73 infantry support vehicles. Many of their turrets were also repurposed as static coastal defenses. The history of the Lago and STRV M42 illustrates how Sweden effectively combined suitable engineering with strategic foresight, ensuring lasting value from its military platforms even in the absence of battlefield deployment. The Landsverk Lago tank played a key role in the development of Sweden's armed forces during the World War II era. Initially designed for export, the project shifted toward domestic use as global tensions rose and foreign contracts collapsed. This strategic shift marked a turning point in Sweden's defense industry, eventually leading to the creation of the STRV M42, which became the country's main battle tank for more than a decade. In the post-war period, many STRV M42 tanks were converted into STRV 74 and IKV 73 assault vehicles. While their turrets were installed as fixed coastal defenses, these adaptations reflected Sweden's pragmatic approach to military planning, extending the utility of existing platforms to maintain a credible defense capability under a policy of armed neutrality.